Someplace else but A. But anyway, this is going to be a great night. It's going to be an excellent night as usual. We got on our couples motivators dream big shirts. That you'll have an opportunity because we've had people inquire about how could they get a shirt like this. So believe you me, if you go to couplemotivators@gmail.com right now, and if you decide that this is a T-shirt that you want in your life, you send us an email. We'll send you some PayPal information for you to send your information to, and we can get one of these shirts shipped out to you. We have them in various sizes, and there's nothing better to have a dream big shirt on. Because not only am I a big man, I dream big as well. But as you can see, we have two great words behind us, home and love. And those things are very much paramount and structured foundations for the couples motivators because without those firm foundations, you can't go forward, regardless if you're thinking about doing anything extensive as doing a business or even just to flow towards different levels of expression within the relationship. You have to have those two segments as a stability sense. Cheryl, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, absolutely. It's in a nutshell. That's what we're about, couples motivators. And if you are engaged or if you are dating in a long-term relationship or you are married, this is the place where you want to be. And we're going to be able to now connect with you on a more larger scale in the next couple of weeks. If you would like to join us in this endeavor, we're having a community of just motivating couples all around the world. So we are excited about what the things that we're getting ready to do and launch in the background. But today's show, like Eric said, if you want to call in, you can call us at 347-996-3160. That's 347-996-3160 for you guys to call in if you have any questions. Because today, men, the show is dedicated to you. And Greg will be going from a male's point of view about
the 5 major things men want women to know about them. See, before we get into the different points and things of that nature, that's one of the most major, and it's not even a discord, it's just one of the major conversations that occurs in a relationship is what do men want? But believe you ladies, just because today is my turn, next week it'll be her turn. Next week we're gonna flip the tables, and I get to sit there with pen and pad to hear and jot down some more new information that's going to be shared. So this week I won the coin toss, so that's why usually you let ladies go first, but Cheryl was so gracious in losing the coin toss and allowing me to have offense first.
Well, yes. In actuality, this is going to help our women because
it is.
So actually, we did go first.
You see that?
We did go first
because that reverse psychology, people.
What we get to know is we get to know all about what our men are thinking from a male's perspective. So men and ladies, get your paper and pen out because you're going to want to jot down these things. And we only have an hour to do these things. So if you want to call in, put your phone dialing in so you can call it 347-996-3160 right now. And Greg, the first one?
Oh, the first one. Now, I'm not going to go in a specific order, but I'm going to hit it up with this one. Watching what we say. Now, what do you mean by watching what we say? Well, one of the things that we realize as especially dealing with relationships and dealing in the whole standpoint of male and females, you may find it sometimes unpopular for us to be a little bit vulnerable. Men don't like to show their vulnerable side. And yes, as much as that we're big, strong, strapping young men or older men or elders or whatever the case may be, sometimes the way that we deal with our feelings, we can sit there and end up with our hands crossed, depending on what our female says to us. So when it comes to dealing with the simple fact of watching what we say, I'm about to ask Cheryl, what does she wish to interject on that? Because sometimes what our woman says to us, depending on how shall I say, the stimuli or the situation or the circumference of the area that we're in, you can sometimes take a man from here and bring him all the way down to here. Cheryl, what do you have to add to that?
Well, absolutely. You can find it's not popular for for men to show that they're hurting or their feelings. And so growing up, it wasn't allowed for men to be
Nope.
vulnerable. So men do cry, men do get hurt. So when men express their feelings, it's one thing to let you know that they express it differently than women.
I always have to be a little funny about that. But one of the things that sometimes that we don't tap into is our emotional state as men. It's not that men who cry are weak. Sometimes some of the greatest expressions, and especially as with me being a football coach, I've seen myself at times get emotional, and I may not let my players see it, but you get so happy for their achievement or happy for all the stuff that you do. And sometimes, those eyes will water up. You get a little red eye, you sit there and you try to suck it back, but sometimes you just let it go. And it's not about showing weakness, believe you me. The ability to control your emotions, to express your emotions in a way that allows yourself to be more expansive is actually for your own growth too, fellas. So at times when people say, oh, you can't do that because it may seem like you're soft, or if you express yourself to your woman, it may be a particular issue that's kind of wrong. Nah. Especially if you know that you're dealing with your partner. See, if you're just dealing with someone, and that's what we dealt with in previous talks about the difference between dating and courting. If you're dealing with your partner, that is the person that you should be able to be vulnerable with. Believe me, if that's the person that's supposed to see you naked, and I'm not just talking about in the physical. See, if you're just stuck on the physical plane and say, oh, this person has seen me at my lowest point. No, low points come in all different stages, and there's always peaks and valleys. And if you get caught up in the physical condition or just your emotional state, and you don't have the ability to allow yourself to receive and perceive what's going on around you, and especially in the communication process based on what we're listening to as men, then sometimes we can be our own worst critic and our own detriment to ourselves. What do you have to add to that, show?
Well, I think that's upon your point because when you put there's one thing I wanted to say to the ladies is that putting them down in front of others is a major thing as well. When watch what you say and in that aspect because you can do that. We have 6 children and you have to be it's amazing how you see them grow in that aspect, so putting them down in front of others and how men express their feelings, remember they express their feelings differently. So right now we're going to give you some pointers of women how you can support your man's emotional needs because this is an emotion. We have emotions. We are vulnerable to cry and things of that nature. So what's some of the things that they can do? Would you like me to say? You want to?
No, I like this because these are the things that I want to hear I love to hear my woman speak. I even received those comments in love that we get from those individuals who go to the couple motivators page on Facebook. And remember, if you haven't liked the page, you should go like the page right now. And I've taken comments, I've taken certain heat, certain videos I posted up. People said that I over talked or I interjected. And you know what? That is part of what the couple motivators is for. So right now, my wife, my partner, not in crime, but in life, will talk about some of the things to support her man's
Well, one of the
needs.
things that you could do is boost his esteem. It's a
Now, how
to
do we
be
boost?
a
How do you boost your mind?
so the appreciation of things that he has done and not his failures. You can't don't belittle him with negative words. Motivate him. Another thing you could do is he needs sex, so to feel and he needs to feel wanted. So, ladies, when you hold back sex, those things that he doesn't, it just they need sex. We need sex as well, but men they need sex. And don't complain about everything. Everything does not need to be
No,
complained
say that
about.
once more.
Don't complain about everything.
Yes,
So
Lord.
there's things that we need to learn in regards to don't complain about everything, but to motivate him. They need sex and to boost his esteem.
Now, one of the things that I will, jump behind what my wife just graciously added is that the whole thing with the sex part. Now, sometimes people would think that as men, since we are more visual and our stuff is more external, that everything is basically about just trying to poke it in every chance you get. But there are times that we do get our moments where it's not just about just the penetration. It's not about just being physically trying to jump within the body of another. Sometimes when you get that emotional connection, that's why I said your partner, your person who sees you at those points, that person who can build you up, that person who won't tear you down, that person who will do certain things for you that not most people will do for you. That individual is not necessarily about the physical sex, even though sex is important. We need sex, but that emotional attachment
Yes.
allows that the physicalness of saying, oh, if I'm not actually penetrating my wife tonight, and all I'm doing is holding her hand, or I'm just hugging her, and we're just sitting there talking, or if I just, I'm stroking her back, or whatever the case may be. Sometimes for me, and this is just me personally, sometimes for me with this woman, that's just as good as having sex. Now, not to say that the regular stuff, or the Valentine's Day stuff, or some of the other stuff that's just beautiful and kinky and just
Well, not only
lovely.
just Valentine's Day.
No, but I'm just saying those things I appreciate as well. But see, one of the things that we want people to start to learn, and I know we're going to deal with it in depth and along the way, is that sex is not just about the physical intimacy, the physical. And I mean, we gave you a little snippet maybe last week about the tantric sex, but this all flows back into what we say, because sometimes women, what you say with how you interact with your man, with your body, as Cheryl was alluding to earlier, can speak volumes. And then it becomes something that we start thinking in our brain, and next thing you know, we may have friction, because now we're thinking one thing because we may be thinking an analytical, more direct, more physically visual way, and then you're coming from the standpoint of emotionalism, inwardness, that whole thing of keeping certain things together and being that rock in a lot of situations. And next you know, the viewpoints start getting varied. It has nothing to do with the love that's been established. It's just that now we're dealing with, what we're saying non-verbally. Because not everything that you do verbally is going to merit the same way. Sometimes you speak louder non-verbally than you do verbally. And so that leads me into